The global fashion industry operates on a fairly rigid set of expectations. You design collections with months of lead time, you spend high budgets on glossy advertising campaigns, and you base your headquarters in a glamorous capital like Paris or Milan. Then there is Zara. Its parent company, Inditex, is a $183 billion enterprise, making it by far the biggest company in Spain. Yet it operates out of a rural corner of the country, and its advertising spend is practically non-existent. Despite avoiding traditional commercials, the brand has achieved total cultural saturation. You'll regularly see A-list celebrities and even royalty, like Queen Letizia of Spain, wearing their clothes, choosing these highly accessible items over high-priced luxury labels. Zara outpaced its rivals by inverting the traditional rules of retail logic. The architect of this system is Amancio Ortega. Growing up in a poor railway workers' family in 1940 Spain, he once watched a local grocer refuse to sell his mother food on credit. That humiliation pushed the 12-year-old boy to drop out of school immediately and find work in a local shirt shop. By 1975, Ortega had built up his own small clothing manufacturing business. But when a bulk wholesale order was suddenly canceled, he was left with huge debts and no buyers. Desperate to liquidate his inventory and get his money back, he opened a small storefront in La Coruña. He called it Zara. The clothes sold out in a matter of days. But that near bankruptcy taught Ortega a ruthless lesson. Relying on external suppliers and middlemen leaves a business completely exposed to disaster. The fast fashion empire was built as a defensive mechanism to grant Ortega absolute control over his own supply chain. That control starts with what the industry calls an information loop. Zara's global store managers don't just organize shelves, they act as real-time data nodes. They constantly track what customers are asking for, what they're ignoring, and feed those exact desires directly back to the design teams. While most major apparel brands rely heavily on factories in distant parts of Asia, Zara utilizes proximity manufacturing. More than half of their clothing is produced right around their headquarters in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. This proximity allows them to design, stitch, and deliver a new piece of clothing to store shelves in just 15 days. To maintain absolute oversight, the company enforces a strict logistics rule. Every single Zara item produced globally must first be shipped back to distribution plants in Spain. Millions of items are routed through a single facility near Madrid, inspected, repackaged, and then flown out to stores worldwide based on exactly what those locations need. This rapid distribution eliminates the need to gamble on long-term fashion trends. The company saves billions by not buying ad space because their hyper-efficient supply chain speed acts as its own marketing engine. This logistical velocity gave birth to the concept of fast fashion. With roughly 80% of Zara stores receiving new shipments every 4 to 5 days, the actual physical environment of the store is in a constant state of flux. Fans of the brand even have a name for these delivery schedules, Z-Day. Shoppers know that specific models are produced in very limited batches. If they don't buy a piece immediately, it will likely be gone within weeks, completely replaced by an entirely new collection. This constant churn makes the company remarkably resilient. If a sudden heat wave or unseasonal rain hits, competitors like H&M often report revenue drops because they're stuck holding months of the wrong inventory. Zara just adapts its upcoming 2-week manufacturing cycle to match the weather. By intentionally keeping supplies tight and turnover high, the company engineered a permanent cycle of artificial scarcity. They turned casual browsing into an urgent, highly addictive habit that consistently generates 70% of Inditex's overall sales. In 2 decades, this accelerated model has changed the cadence of global shopping. Clothing production has doubled, while the duration clothes are worn has plummeted. The raw materials required to sustain this volume are incredibly resource-intensive, and the rapid disposal of cheap clothing creates a wake of environmental damage. In the United States alone, consumers throw away roughly 10 billion kilograms of textile waste every single year. Now, Zara faces a serious threat from companies executing its own playbook. Private Chinese e-commerce giants like Shein and Temu have entered the market with even faster turnaround times and lower price tags. Because these ultra-fast fashion rivals are privately held, they don't face the same level of environmental pressure from investors that a publicly traded company like Inditex does. They can prioritize pure speed and volume without having to answer to shareholder sustainability pledges. The highly controlled, rapid response manufacturing machine that Amancio Ortega built is suddenly losing ground. competitors are moving faster simply because they operate with fewer rules. In 2022, Marta Artegav took over as the non-executive chairwoman of Inditex. Her immediate challenge is defending her father's legacy against these compounding crises of climate impact and hyper-aggressive competition. To distance itself from the fast fashion stigma, Zara has begun executing a series of defensive pivots. They've rolled out clothing repair services, committed to net zero emissions by 2040, and expanded physical retail floor space to offer more premium, personalized shopping experiences. From its accidental beginnings in a small Spanish workshop, the brand proved a vital concept for modern retail. The business that controls the speed and physical reality of its supply chain ultimately dictates the pace of the surrounding culture. The question now is whether the original architects of fast fashion can successfully pivot away from a global culture of overconsumption before the extreme speed that built their empire becomes the very thing that ruins it.